The evidence in this case showed that on May 16th, 2024, inmate Benjamin Morgan was out of place. A simple institutional violation that Corrections Officer Stephen Bills tried to remedy by asking the defendant to simply go to his cell and shut the door. A command that the defendant refused repeatedly. Over and over and over again. Nearly 20 times, Officer Bills calmly gave the defendant a command to lock down. He refuses to do so, and so he gets hit by a short burst of OC spray, pepper spray. A signal 3 is then called. Officer Nard, Corrections Officer August Nard, who's already en route to K Block, to the defendant's cell, based on the earlier request for assistance, hears the signal 3, starts running.
All right, guys, buckle up, because today we're stepping straight into a confrontation that spiraled out of control inside a prison block. The clip opens with the prosecution laying out how a simple order turned into a full-blown standoff, as inmate Morgan refuses nearly 20 commands. This sets the tone for everything that follows, showing exactly how fast things escalated.
And arrives at the defendant's cell as corrections officers Bills and Garcia are fighting over the door with inmate Morgan. And what did inmate Morgan do the entire time? I'm a good fighter. Fight me. Fight me. You spray me. I'm going to fight me. I'm going to fight you. I've dealt with bigger people than you.
Older man. Shh. Sorry.
He was combative and resistant the entire time. They had no choice but to do what they did. Nothing was excessive. Nothing was unnecessary. The defendant was not entitled to use force back. He was not entitled to act in self-defense. The state has proven this case, and we ask that you return a verdict of guilty.
Now from here to this point, things intensify as the prosecution presses harder. They describe Morgan's aggressive words, his refusal to comply, and insist the officers used only necessary force. What you're watching is the final push before verdict discussions begin, where the state makes its strongest claim that Morgan wasn't defending himself, but resisting every step of the way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Newberger.
You've heard a lot of talk about rules, and you've heard testimony about force. I'm not involved with law enforcement except in the trial setting. And I am absolutely certain that I'm grateful that I'm not a corrections officer. Because in both videos, I see 3 corrections officers trying to do their jobs. People make mistakes, and it's up for you. It's before you to decide whether a mistake was made. But I've got to admit, when I watched that first video, I got angry. I got angry at Mr. Morgan. It took me a little while to get past that, to look at all the evidence. And you'll have all that before you, and you've had it all before you. But I got angry. Because if my daughters had been that disrespectful to a teacher, they would have been suspended, if not expelled. And I certainly would have punished them. But it wasn't Officer August Nard's job to punish. But what's irrefutable and unrebuttable are the 2 videos that you have an opportunity to see while you're deliberating. And you've heard all the evidence and the testimony. Mr. Morgan asks you to find him not guilty.
You heard Officer Nard say there was a sound, a biting sound, a chomp. It broke the skin, it left a bruise. But watch the video. Watch it over and over and over again. Because what it will show you, and what the facts are, is the defendant refusing to comply with anything. And corrections officers doing what they needed to do. And based on that, I'd ask that you return a verdict.
In this stretch, the defense steps in and shifts the tone. They admit the officers were under pressure and acknowledge Morgan's disrespect, but they urge the jury to see the full context before making a judgment. The tension here climbs as the defense argues that the videos tell a deeper story and asks the jury to consider whether force crossed the line or stayed within duty.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholson. In the matter of the State of Ohio versus Benjamin Morgan, the jury finds as follows. As to count one, we, the jury being duly impaneled, sworn or affirmed, find the defendant Benjamin Morgan guilty of assault as he stands charged in the indictment. This is the second additional finding. The victim of the offense was an employee of the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. Anything before I pronounce sentence, Ms. Nicholson?
Your Honor, there is no input from the victims. I will note for the record that he is currently incarcerated on a charge of attempted murder out of Cuyahoga County with an out date of August of 2028 currently. He does have other records to include burglaries, robberies, aggravated assaults. The court heard the facts at trial. We would ask for a minimum 24-month sentence to be imposed.
Here, the atmosphere snaps as the verdict lands. Morgan is found guilty of assault, and almost instantly the focus shifts to sentencing. Prosecutors highlight his prior offenses and ongoing incarceration, pushing for at least 24 months. This section hits with real weight as the courtroom prepares for the final decision on how severe the penalty should be.
Mr. Newberger, anything on behalf of the defendant?
He may want to speak on his own behalf.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, anything you want to say?
Yes. What is 24 months?
2 years.
2 years.
That's a recommendation. Is there anything you want to say on your behalf?
Yes, I truly wasn't. I truly wasn't trying to. That even when the incident happened, Judge, I just lost it. I was going through lots of stuff already. People were taking things of mine, and I had been going through that for a minute. When I was having stuff taken from me, I was trying to address it with the officer, and at the time, I had already just going through stuff. And the incident between me and that officer, like I said, like he said, me have never had a problem. Never had a problem. And when he came into that, and when that happened, that incident happened, I never thought that I would even would go through something like that. So I apologize to the court. But the thing of it is being responsible. Being an adult and being responsible is the thing that I've gotten older now, and I've seen a lot of stuff. So and then I'm going through a lot of stuff right now also, and I had been fighting some of the issues that I had been writing you, and that's probably was the cause of. Like the young lady was saying to you earlier, when she was telling you that we have to, the first lady that was here with her family, and she was telling you how she stopped and was changing her life and seeing things, and had to me also the same way. I'm gotten older, and I've been through lots of stuff. As a youngster, I don't have a problem with facing if I know I'm wrong on something. As I'm older now, I don't have a choice but to face it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and if I'm right about something, then I'm right. But I never attempted to want. I never wanted to harm him with my illness or anything else. I never meant that.
Mr. Morgan, that's not what you're charged with. You're not charged with attempting to inflict him with your virus. That's not what you're charged with. You're charged with biting him.
Yeah. Well,
had it been the additional, had the state at least pursued a theory that you were intending or attempting to inflict him with the virus that your body carries, that would have been a more serious charge than what you're faced with now.
But the thing of it is, Your Honor, like I said, I had had been going through, people had taken things from me at that time. And when this incident happened, only thing that I could do at the time, and I shouldn't have, but I don't usually bite people. I don't. And so I apologize for that.
Mr. Morgan, you talk as if there's been this big gap between this incident, because you even referenced this young lady this morning where there was a 15 or 20-year gap between her last offense and this offense. This offense happened 18 months ago? I mean, it wasn't like we're talking about something that happened 10 years ago. It happened 18 months ago, but you want me to believe that in this last 18 months, you have grown and matured and figured out how...
I have. I mean, I have no choice. I mean, I have really gotten a chance to really take a look at...
Here, the atmosphere snaps as the verdict lands. Morgan is found guilty of assault, and almost instantly the focus shifts to sentencing. Prosecutors highlight his prior offenses and ongoing incarceration, pushing for at least 24 months. This section hits with real weight as the courtroom prepares for the final decision on how severe the penalty should be.
All right.
Some of the stuff.
Then the other thing is that you mentioned was that how you as a man need to take responsibility when you're wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Are you saying were you wrong here in biting him?
I just said, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then why did we have a jury trial over this? They offered you 9 months in prison in addition to add it on to your current sentence, and now we spent the last 2 days. You've been traveling to and from Toledo the last 2 days. I got 2 corrections officers getting up at 4 a.m. to transport you from Toledo this morning. Why did you go through all this if you were wrong?
I found out by listening to all the things that you explained, you guys explained about what you call her. And then I started looking at it myself and started saying, well, maybe
All right. Courts consider the statements made here today, the purposes and the principles of sentencing, the relevance, seriousness, and recidivism factors. The court does find that you're not amenable to community control. So the court is going to order a sentence of 24 months in prison, that to be served consecutive to your current sentence. The consecutive sentence is necessary to punish this defendant. It is not disproportionate to the conduct or danger posed by the defendant, and this offense occurred while the defendant was already incarcerated with the Department of Corrections. You have 0 days jail time credit on this 24 months. You are indigent for the purpose of any fines, costs, or other financial sanctions. You are subject to a mandatory period of post-release control. So on this offense, like what you're currently serving, the Adult Parole Authority will supervise you for up to 3 years, but not less than 1 year. If you violate that supervision, you can be returned to prison for up to 1/2 of the court's original sentence. If your violation is that you commit another felony, you can be returned to prison for 1 year or the period that you have left on PRC, whichever is longer. That time would run consecutive to any additional prison time you get sentenced to. You do have a right to appeal the jury's verdict and the court's sentence to the 12th District Court of Appeals. If you want to appeal, you must file your notice within 30 days of today's date. If you can't afford to pay for the transcript or anything necessary for your appeal, that can all be provided to you at no cost. If you cannot afford an attorney, I will appoint one for you at no cost. Ms. Nicholson, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Newberger?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I wish you nothing but the best, okay? All right, thank you, sir.
From here to the end, the judge delivers the final blow. He walks through Morgan's choices, rejects the idea that maturity changed anything in 18 months, and imposes a 24-month consecutive sentence. The judge explains appeal rights and closes the hearing. And that wraps it up, guys. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.